Hello guys and welcome back. Today is a glorious Wednesday. Yes guys, episode 184 on the 6th of November. Yes guys, Black Friday's coming. It's 1 week down, 2 to go. Yes, I've already got my techie deals on the, saved in the Amazon basket. But we're not here to talk about Black Friday. We're here to talk about Blizzcon. Yes, Blizzcon. And the humor in and around Blizzcon, because I just laughed a lot of it. I really did. The beginning part was the most funniest. The end part was a bit sad. Joining me is someone who actually paid attention to BlizzCon. Draconis, introduce yourself please, my good sir.
Hey. Yeah, I don't know about paid attention. I paid attention to the parts that interested me and, a few of the other newsy bits, but I skipped over quite a bit of it.
Yeah, the bit that I really paid attention to, and I want to say laughed through all of it, because you could see that it was bollocks. It really was utter bollocks. And I laughed. Yes, I laughed. Drac, what? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Are you talking about the kid jumping up with the Free Hong Kong?
Surprised he wasn't banned from every single Blizz service available.
Yeah, that whole thing, you knew it was going to happen.
Oh, dude, I expected more, actually. But people let me down. They let me down. My soul cries a bit. I expected like a horde of people jumping up and wrecking that entire that apology sort of bullshit that he was... Sorry, I shouldn't say that word, because YouTube will demonetize us. Not that we're monetized anyway. But I expected a huge slew of people basically interrupting the entire freaking apology and just taking it back. You know how the Black Lives Matter people interrupt all those sort of conferences and whatever have you. I was expecting this, because this actually is quite important. I shouldn't say it. I'm not going to say anymore to get myself in trouble if I do.
Well, but here's the funny thing. The way they handled that when they were doing that Q&A session and the kid, kind of stood up and was trying to get in front of the camera and stuff like that. I'll give the guy credit, the guy that was running the mic. He handled it pretty well, all things considered, in my mind, because he was like, he basically just asked the person who was asking a question, who's in the middle of asking a question, like, to hold on a second, and then he goes over to the kid and he's like, do you have a question? And the kid's like, Free Hong Kong, and he's like, okay, thank you. And you hear a few other people go, thank you, and that was it. It was like they took the wind right out of the sails of the whole thing. It was just like, all right, cool, and moving on, and then off they went back to the question. And just the funny thing about it to me is, like we said, it was going to happen, but yeah, it was just they kind of just let it happen and then just moved right on like nothing had happened.
Very good damage control, but to be honest, the way they just swept it aside, I thought was quite was very well managed, and that's all I'm going to say about it, because I think it's quite bad. We all know that Activision Blizzard is quite well entrenched within the Chinese regime with regard to financial bits and pieces, and it's frustrating because you can see the political influence on a video game company and developer, whatever have you, and they're having to do these actions just to appease their, I want to say, Chinese overlords, but it's not. It's the political overlords. It's not the Chinese are the overlords. It's the political regime that's the other. That's what everyone's fighting against. It's the political regime. I know many people that don't like it, but one of those. Anyway, the non-apology. Yeah, Blizzcon's still banned,
real
bro.
Quick.
What's non-apology, bro? Blizzcon's still banned. Those two Taiwanese streamers are still banned. Well done. Great apology.
Well, real quick before you jump into that, as a segue to that of why Blizzard president would even be up there apologizing, but here's the whole thing. Look at how they handled that in that forum with all those people there with a live audience, and then look at how it was handled afterwards when it was the live stream. The whole thing with the live stream and Blitzchung getting banned and initially losing his prize money but then getting it back and all that. That whole thing generated so much more news media than this little protest at BlizzCon will. This little thing, they let it happen, then they moved on, and it's just a blip. And I don't think that many, people will talk about it, but nowhere near like what they were talking about with the whole ban and the prize money situation.
Now, you see, that makes a lot more fucking sense to me, because all they had to do was go, yep, okay, and carry on. There had to be someone within somewhere holding the bags of money saying, deal with this guy, or you're not going to get this money. And that's why they overreacted to the point where they appeased certain political masters. I'm going to say political because I don't want to say Chinese. It's not the Chinese, honestly, it's the political regime. So yeah, that's still a thing. And if I know one thing's right, they don't back down. But but this is how they should have handled it. Gone, yeah, okay, cool. But, they still would have taken some flack for it, but not as much as they've got flack now. And withholding duly earned, money from doing bits and pieces in the past, you shouldn't have done that. Should not have done. Because that's basically holding the guy to ransom. They shouldn't have done that. Really shouldn't.
Well, so now on the subject of the non-apology, one thing that I kept thinking about is, do we give this guy credit for even standing up and saying anything? Even though it was really, what we're kind of calling a non-apology, because, basically what he comes out and what he actually said that they were sorry for was that they reacted too quick and then they took too long to communicate, about what was going on with the community. And it's like, okay, so what you're saying is in the future, when you say you want to do better, that means you're going to take longer to react and then you're going to explain your actions right away. But like you mentioned, the ban still stands. He's still banned for 6 months. He did get his prize money, back. I can't remember now if the two commentators, I think they were initially banned. I don't remember if I couldn't remember if their ban had been upheld or if it had been pushed aside. But here's the thing. They brought so much more attention to that whole thing. So it's like, what exactly is it? I don't know. It didn't feel like a lot of an apology. And the reason why I say, do we give the guy credit? Because, he's in a tough position. Yeah, they're trying to, break in or stay in the Chinese market. So how do they get up? Because they would have been roasted if they didn't say anything, right?
Correct.
So yeah, it's I don't know. I felt they were in that situation. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. They're going to get roasted alive if they don't say anything, but he gets up there and he doesn't really say anything, but he was there. I don't know.
Well, you could see the insincerity in his eyes. He did an interview with PC Gamer, and he basically clarified his position and why he did these bits and pieces, and basically reiterating what you've just said. Took too long to communicate, didn't communicate enough, and it just to me it smells of, you did it because you were bloody told to, man. Either you were too chicken shit for this to actually go on within the Blizzard sort of channels and Twitch streaming. You didn't want to lose any sort of face with your Chinese, I keep saying Chinese, within your political regime, and then lose the business that you then gain, because trust me now, China's a hugely untapped market when it comes to game, right? The Chinese video game market is massive, and if Blizzard can get their foot in the door, they're quids in, sod the West. They'll be catering more towards the Chinese and their video game needs, I can promise you that. So a knee-jerk reaction that completely bombed, okay, orchestrated by a political regime that has financial ties within Blizzard. The guy did an interview with PC Gamer, I think it was PC Gamer, and he reiterated his stance, this, that, and the other, meow, 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 and it's like, you really are a twat. You really are. Dude, all you care about is money, bro. That's all you care about. And this is when I read that, it's like, wow, yeah. So yeah, he's getting the Blizzchung's still banned. The Twitch streamers are still banned. They're not gonna get unbanned for 6 months or whatever the agreement was. Oh, but the bonus, he got his money. Oh, brilliant. That he got his money that was duly earned for him anyway. That shouldn't have been, taken from him.
Well, so here's the thing. If you'll permit me to maybe allow you to take your tinfoil off.
Yeah. Please do.
Something you mentioned about them being directed to do it from Chinese investors or whatever. I question whether or not they were whether there was even a conversation or whether or not they may have been, like you theorized, directed to do it. I honestly wouldn't be shocked to find out that it was just someone in the business side of things that knew how the folks over there feel about these kinds of things and then hit that panic button. Which is probably why they came out and said some of the things they did afterwards about they weren't being directed by China and the fact that they gave the prize money back and half the suspension and stuff like that. I think if it had been at the direction of the regime, as you're putting it at this point, that would have been a very hard stance from them, and there would have been no wiggle room, and it wouldn't have come back later and said, okay, well we'll get the prize money back and we'll cut this in half.
Aye, but you're still banned. He goes on to state that you're allowed to express your freedom of speech, and he encourages freedom of speech within the company, and he encourages people to do so, gamers and all the like, and yet he's done this. So yeah, if someone that actively promotes, or as he puts it, believes in freedom of speech and freedom of expression, why was there a knee-jerk reaction to this? He only wants Blizz things to be about the game. Why does it have to get hijacked about a political situation? Don't worry, BlizzCon was focused solely on your non-apology, so that took complete and utter focus of BlizzCon. BlizzCon's meant to be about the games, but now it's all about your non-apology, because tables turn, sunshine.
Well, it's definitely taken a big focus out of this chunk of this episode.
No, it has. No, seriously, honestly, you know, you said something at the beginning of the year with regards to Bethesda. Hold my beer. Fallout 70.
Oh my God.
Fallout 76 is just constantly failing, and now the £100 freaking subscription, which is actually quite cheap for a year, right? And now this, it's like this 2019 has been a colossal screw up for for every AAA studio that I can think of right now. It's been a colossal clusterfuck. Sorry, flustercluck.
This has definitely been like a freaking dark ages for gaming this year between, you know, Anthem, which I know you're having fun with.
I'm having fun with Anthem.
But, you know, all the talent that they've lost and the leadership that they've lost and continue to lose. You know, Fallout 76 being whatever it is, because, yeah, I swear, just when you think nothing else can go wrong with that game, right?
Something else happens, my lord. And now to sort of poke the bear even more, maybe gouge out an eyeball as a souvenir, Outer Worlds has come along, and that is a better game.
It's come out to rave reviews. Everybody who's been playing it's been loving it.
How do you out Fallout freaking Bethesda? How do you out Skyrim Bethesda? Whoa, these guys
I'll tell you how. Yeah, these guys are the guys who did some of the more popular, like one of the more popular Fallout games and stuff like that. So that's how they do it. They have the experience. You know, they've done this kind of thing before. Now they're just doing it, you know, within their own created universe instead of within, you know, the Fallout universe.
Aye, but the thing is, Take-Two Interactive's still a company wanting to make money. So I'm pretty sure there was some shadiness within the sort of whatever. But ZeniMax just wants the money, bro. And so does Activision Blizzard. They just want the money, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you say, oh, it's a company that wants the money. No, I mean, all companies, that's part of the base definition. You know, they're there to try and make a buck.
Yeah, right. Let's move on. I think we've done this part to death, and I'm pretty sure airing on the Wednesday has been done to death by almost everybody else.
Yeah, well, if you were worried about Blitzchung, don't be, because it seems like he's going to be all right. He's been picked up by a professional esports team, Tempo Storm, and, you know, he's already said that when his suspension is lifted, he plans to start competing again, and I expect in the meantime he'll be playing and practicing anyway.
Or at least taking a bit of a breather, going, ha ha ha, look what you've done for me. They created the publicity around his little stunt, and all they could have done is just, like you said, waved it off, you know, but they didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he's gotten way more out of this than he probably ever would have because of the way they reacted. So, all right, yeah, well, moving on, I guess I would say that the three big topics coming out of BlizzCon, first up will be World of Warcraft Shadowlands, and whilst I don't have specific information on exactly what this is going to do, we got to see a really cool CGI trailer, but which I gotta give Blizzard credit for this. Their CGI trailers have always been amazing,
top notch.
Yeah, I want, like, when they did a Warcraft movie, if they had done it in that style, if we didn't need live action, there's nothing wrong with live action, but we didn't need it, and had it been done in that style, I think it would have been far more popular, and they could have possibly even told, you know, a better story that way than maybe being limited with some of the live action stuff. But
yeah, I thought that too.
It wasn't a horrendous movie, but it wasn't a great movie, and I just would love to see them put this kind of effort into a full-length feature film. That aside, at the end of the trailer, which, okay, if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, this is your warning to go watch the trailer first, then come back. But that said, at the end of the trailer, she rips open a tear in reality, and now it's like there's, assuming Shadowlands is this alternate plane that exists in parallel to the World of Warcraft universe that you're used to playing in. So my question is, so are we basically, for those who played World of Warcraft, are you just going to be playing through all the same content again, but they're just going to put a fresh coat of paint on it?
Oh, I see. I didn't see it like that, but now the way you're explaining it might very well be. They've just gone ahead and J.J. Abrams. God, I can't even say his name today. Yes, I'm ill. All right, forgive me. They've just J.J. Abrams the World of Warcraft thing, like they did in Star Trek. My God, is it going to be lens flare next?
And lots of it. No, you can tell from the tower that peeks out that's mirroring the tower that's up there that it's slightly different. So sure, there'll be design changes. races. I hope there are going to be, different creatures to battle and maybe new races to play as. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought of, is like, wow, did they just really take a shortcut and decide to just reskin everything, but you play through it all again?
No, well, honestly, what I think they're trying to go into a new direction, because I think they've done World of Warcraft to death. So what they're doing is trying to reinvigorate the World of Warcraft series and do it new, do a brand new whole sort of take on it. I quite like the idea, but now that you've got that take on it, I can't stop thinking about it. I just expect to see the whole thing now. I know they're reskinning and revamping Red Alert's apologies. Now there's just going to be a retooled 4K version of the original World of Warcraft. Oh my god. Oh my god.
They have a list of things.
I'm going to cut you off there. And what do you mean the World of Warcraft movie was pants? I enjoyed it.
Like I said, I didn't say it was pants. I said the movie was okay. I just thought it could have been a lot better.
No, well, listen. They should have stuck the thing with Leroy Jenkins in. They should have done that. That should have. It was made, right? It was edited. It was made. They just didn't put it in. Someone made the call somewhere. Nah, leave it. But the thing about World of Warcraft is that Blizzard pays homage to a lot of people and things that made the game possible. And Leroy Jenkins was a huge, massive meme back in the. I'm talking back in the day. Like, I think it was like 2012. God, 7 years ago. They should have stuck it in there. They should have. Really should have. But never mind. Not many people would understand that. Everyone knows Leroy Jenkins. For God's sakes, it's in Hearthstone. Come on. Jeez.
Yeah, even people who don't play WoW know who Leroy Jenkins is, or at least know the name and know the meme.
It was funny, though.
It was pretty damn funny. All right, well, moving on from that, another announcement was Overwatch 2, and I will say something that was really cool about that, and something they should have had in the first Overwatch game, is now they have story missions, and they'll also be co-op, so you'll be able to play it co-op as well. So that's kind of cool, because now we'll get to play, as these characters in that world, and you get to play through some story missions, rather than just it being a PvP slog.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is my only criticism with Overwatch, okay? It had all these intricate characters, cool-looking weapons and ways to play, and everyone played differently and so on and so forth, but for me myself, I felt lost. It's like, okay, so this happened, and okay, that makes no sense, and now there's a story mode. They can tell a story, and I know Blizzard's getting a lot of heat right now, but Blizzard is known for making a good story. They really are. I love the StarCraft storyline. I love the World of Warcraft storyline. I did. It wasn't necessarily a movie, but there was a story within the game that kept you playing. This will be cool. This will be cool. Just think about it. Story mode, Overwatch, yeehaw.
Well, and I never got much into StarCraft. I've played them, a little bit here and there, but apparently there's been no new information on that, and a lot of folks are saying, dead series, that Blizzard isn't going to be doing anything with StarCraft, and there was at one point supposed to be a shooter that they were going to work on with that I got a little excited about, but I guess that got canceled. I wouldn't say StarCraft is necessarily dead. I would say that they may come back to it at some point, especially when they feel like they might have played out on certain other things, or want to pivot to do something different. But yeah, it's going to be a while, at least it looks like, before we're going to have any other new StarCraft content.
The problem with making a StarCraft first-person shooter is you got to try your hardest not to make it look like a Warhammer 40k game.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different direction with that.
Starship Troopers, maybe?
Yeah, Starship Troopers, yeah.
For me, it was Red Alert 2, which turned me off the franchise completely because I didn't like the cartoony animations. Goodish game, but nah. I went from Red Alert 2 to playing StarCraft, and I played both StarCraft 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, all the play StarCrafts, and I really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. The last one, meh, a bit of meh, but really enjoyed the story of the first one. Really did. Really did. It does remind me of now thinking about it, it does remind me a little bit of Firefly. Initially in the beginning, when you first see this opening scenes of Firefly, and you see them floating on the wreckage of the ship and laying the explosive charge to get at the proteins and nutrients inside that ship's vault. It reminds me kind of like that, but never mind.
Well, back on Overwatch.
Oh yes, we've gone off piece again. Apologies.
That's okay, but it's you're going to be able to level up the characters, and so now that makes me wonder if this is going to be a bit of a looter shooter type thing. Is there equipment, or is it just going to be things that the characters themselves and the skills themselves that we're leveling up? So we'll still be looking for more information on that. There's going to be new PvP mode and new PvP maps maps. They're planning to add new heroes and stuff like that. So they're not just reusing everything they've already done and then slapping a story mode in there. Looks like they're still going to be adding quite a bit. So
wait. I've just had an epiphany. Right. Activision Blizzard owned Bungie. Destiny 2.
They need something to fill that gap.
They need something to fill that gap, and they've got the expertise in how to build Destiny. Are these guys going to try and out-Destiny with Overwatch 2? Because think about it. Open world. Everyone's on the open world experience now. Every man and his dog. Alright? So they've got the experience. They've got the playable characters. All they need is the terrain and the bits and pieces and so on. And that's not difficult to put together because they just copy and paste what they learned from Destiny. This could be... Wow! Drac, the tinfoil's flowing today!
I mean, could it be, what they're trying to fill the gap with? Sure, but it just seems like, to me, I don't necessarily know if I would see this compete in the same arena. It could. It's just that when they're listing this as cooperative play, they haven't yet said, or at least I haven't yet seen how many. I think it's like 4 players, I think they said, maybe. So that's... I guess when you think about Destiny and there's the 3-person fire team, which I still wish that they would make it bigger, but...
Is it a 4-person fire team? Or is it 3? No, it's a 3. Sorry, apologies, you're right. It's a 3-person fire team, you're right.
Yeah, in Destiny it's 3-person, but in Overwatch they're saying like 4-player missions, so I guess...
Think about it. Overwatch 2, what would you need from Destiny to make Overwatch 2 like Destiny? Very little. Apart from basically generating an open world map. What does Destiny have? A broken story, a completely fractured player base. What does Overwatch 2 have? None of that. Brand new. They've got the IP of Overwatch already. This is the second iteration of it.
A very toxic fan base.
Well, think about it, right? I played Dust 514, right? I played Dota. I've played a League of Legends. You cannot find a more toxic player base within those 3 games anywhere else, right? Overwatch toxicity is nothing compared to Dota. So you've got a grounded IP, right? And all you need to make Overwatch 2 basically crush Destiny is a massive open world and a story mode where you can pick any number of characters like the Gorilla, or the Gorilla's my favorite, right? Love him.
Winston.
Okay, apologies. Okay, yes. I love him. So you can play him, he could be your character, and you can pay to win, buy the mods, buy the armor, buy the bits and pieces, a bit like Anthem. You don't need much to basically out-Destiny with Overwatch 2. Wow!
Well, I will say this. I haven't played Overwatch, so I can't comment on how the gunplay mechanics are in Overwatch and how they compare to Destiny.
Excellent gun game.
So that's what I was going to say, is that's going to be one of the big things, if you're trying to compete with Destiny. Then aside from that, I think that a lot of what draws people to Destiny besides that is like collecting things and, the lore and stuff like that. So
Overwatch have that.
Overwatch
has the lore, dude. Overwatch has the lore. It's got the cool weapons. It's got the collectibles and whatever have you. You can unlock various people throughout the story. No ways. We've hit diamond gold here, son. Seriously. Look at that. We've managed to tinfoil our way into Overwatch 2. So think of it like this, right? What does Destiny have? Story mode, gun game, cooperative play, open world. What will Overwatch 2 have? Story mode, gun game, cooperative play, PvP. They're the same game, bro.
Well, I mean, look, it's entirely it's entirely possible this could be what they're gonna try and put in place to fill that gap that Destiny left when Bungie went out on their own. So hey, it's possible.
I need to confer with my fellow baconistas. I need to get grit and tinfoil with grit for a bit and see what we come up with. Yes, I just made the baconista word up. Actually, is that a real word? Actually, I don't know. It probably is. It is now.
Yeah, it is now. You heard it here first.
Right, last thing, Diablo.
All right, and on that note, well, I mean, really, should we be calling this one Diablo or Diabla?
To be honest, it's more of the same, isn't it?
Well, okay, so I can't remember if you said this when we were talking not too long ago, or if it's something I heard on another YouTube video, critic video or whatever about the Diablo series, when they were theorizing the direction that Diablo might go or might need to go. But they talked about how Diablo needed to get back to the darker tones that it was like in the first 2 games, and how the third one with its brighter colors and story and stuff, it kind of like departed a lot from that. And they've done that. The game itself, when you look at it, it is much of a more of a darker tone. It does really kind of harken back to those first 2 Diablo games.
Think of it like D&D, right? Everyone knows 3rd edition. Everyone hated 4th edition. Everyone loves 5th edition. Everyone wants to go back to 3rd edition. I agree. They need to go back to Ark.
I still preferred 3rd edition. Yeah, I mean, 5th edition is good. 5th edition is good. It's not bad. 4th edition, I couldn't stand. But yeah, I really did. I liked 3rd edition quite a bit.
Yeah, everyone. What I'm trying to reference here is everybody wants to go back to the good old days, nostalgia, right? Now I won't deny them this. I played first Diablo. I played with Diablo 2. Played Necromancer, right? That was a good damn game. Good damn. I put all my stats into one thing. I think it was teeth, and you fling out teeth. I'd clear the map. I'd just clear the map because it would like launch like an arc. Oh fuck! I forget. But anyway, it would clear the map. It was brilliant. That's how I got through it. But no, you're right. Diablo 3 on the PS4 was very bling bling. Very sort of flashy, bright lights, explosions, a bit like a John Woo film.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun with it though. I played through the main campaign. I didn't play it after the main campaign. I never went back to it, but I played through the entire story campaign and had some fun with it. I think I played the Witch Doctor.
Right. Now, for me, I just thought it was very blingy, and I agree. The comment you just referenced there was too intelligent for myself, so you must have heard of somebody else. I would have made something like that. But in a sense, I do agree with it. It does need to go back to its darker tones. Video games don't have to be family friendly. I just wish Disney would learn that. Some movies they make don't have to be family friendly. As in a boy of 12 gets to watch it. No. You can slap an 18 sticker on that damn thing and get it watched.
Well, at least from BlizzCon, the only things that they were showing as far as classes so far is the Barbarian, the Sorceress, and the Druid, which they're calling as a like hybrid character that can cast spells and dish out melee damage. So this guy can transform into a werebear and a werewolf, and the transformations they were showing were pretty cool. You're also going to end up with like horses that you can mount and dismount on the fly, and so that'll help you with traversing the maps and stuff like that. One curious thing that I thought was kind of interesting is they're instituting these what they're calling like social area or hub zones where people can like play like in game, can go to meet up and chat and then like trade loot and stuff like that. They're also gonna, I guess, make use of some of these areas to do like world events. So since we have been talking about Destiny so much, if you think about the public events that happen on each one of the planets, it's going to be that kind of thing where you have a bunch of players who exist in whatever instance in that area can then go and try and tackle some large boss. So a little bit more of a social aspect.
Oh my good god, it's happening in Diablo, it's gonna happen in Overwatch 2. Tinfoil theory confirmed. If it's gonna look, they're gonna employ that similar mechanic that they had in Destiny 2 into Diablo. Why won't it? Doesn't make sense to not put it into Overwatch 2. I mean, my god, it's basically copying that mechanic. So yes, it's gonna happen. Watch the space. Overwatch 2 / I'm gonna call it Doverwatch. There we go. Doverwatchy. There we go. Boom. Yes, we have fun here. Yes, we have fun here. Silly fun.
But yeah, I mean, typical, I would say other than that, it's going back to its dark roots. You got your typical Diablo-like game, and the joke that I was making at the beginning of this part of the segment about it being Diablo is because the main focus, the enemy that you'll be going up against, at least assume that you'll be going against at the end, is not Diablo, but is Lilith, which is, Diablo, and, well, I'm not going to bother explaining it. Everybody gets it.
Yep, no, everyone gets it. Everyone's crying back for the good old days. Yeah, they're not going to do it. They're just going to put more explosions in. Again, like a John Woo film. But never mind. Well, hang on. Lens flares, like J.J. Abrams. That's the new thing now, isn't it? It was explosions back in the 90s. Now it's lens flares. Like, whoop-de-doo. We've progressed.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that Michael Bay is stuck in the 90s?
No, well, look, Michael Bay, is that the guy that likes shooting helicopters in the sunset for no reason? Is that him?
He's the guy that has to make everything explode, like in these massive explosions, even if it makes no sense.
I can't remember who it was. I'm sure it's Michael Bay. Don't quote me this, but he loves recording sort of military aircraft doing sweeping moves into sunsets or sunrises and so on. He loves that sort of cinematography of it. And it does add a certain substance to the films. I'm sure it's Michael Bay. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, there we go. I can't remember who it was, man. Honestly, I can't remember. I'm sure it's Michael Bay. Sure it is.
Well, so was there anything out of BlizzCon this year that even caught your interest at all? Are you looking forward to Diablo or Overwatch 2, or is this just kind of like an entire pass for you?
Look, to be honest, it's an entire pass for me, right? Like I made a point of saying in the beginning of this episode, this year for publishers and developers has been a complete and utter farce. If it's not one thing, it's another. And, any minor infraction, looked into a bit more deeply, turns out to be a massive, colossal axe wound into the actual gaming community. And, I can't help but think, are we going back to the 80s? Will this hobby of mine die? And I don't want it to die, I mean, I've had a lot of fun with video games, dude.
Take
a lot
the
of fun.
tinfoil off it.
No,
I think it's become far too big
here.
for it to die at this point like that.
Yeah, no, I just don't want it to die, dude. And I just see people
But see, here's the thing. Back in the 80s, did we really have an indie game market anywhere near like what we have today? So if AAA eats itself to death, if it's the snake that eats its own tail and people fall away from AAA, we still have the indie game market with all the great games there.
Are you trying to make me feel better that we're actually going to become semi sort of recognized for having recorded 3 years worth of indie game developers?
Hey, who knows? Stranger things have happened.
Don't get me started on Stranger Things now, dude. Seriously, I've been off piced enough today than it is.
Man, you're like that ADD kid that's been given too much sugar. You're just pinging all over the place.
Dude, I'm like that. I'm happy because I bought myself a bonsai tree today. So yes, I'm very happy.
See what I mean?
Yes. Right, no, honestly, Drac, nothing's really caught my eye. I did want to, watch the president's apology, and when it was finished, I couldn't help but think that, I had so much respect for him, but after this, it's like, you know what, dude, seriously, you just don't give two shits. You don't care. So, yeah, okay, yeah, but now that I've got the hat, the tinfoil hat full of bacon grease on, I've made a bit of fun out of Overwatch 2 and Shadowlands or whatever have you. But honestly, Drac, nah, sorry, next.
Well, for me, WoW's a bit of a pass just because I've never played. I never got into it because, at least when it was out a long time ago, they do the monthly subscription, and I just didn't, back then I didn't get enough time to play games that I felt it would be worth it, so I just never got into WoW. Overwatch 2, I'm curious about, and I want to see more of it because I may want to actually play the story mode and the co-op missions and stuff like that. And then I'm sure I'll end up playing Diablo 4 because, we've played the previous Diablo games and had a pretty good time with those.
Anyway, guys, from me, Bamm Havoc, thank you very much for listening. Please click like, comment, subscribe, bell. Yes, we have to start saying this stuff now because, you have a bell to click now. Double subscribe. Yeah, yay. From myself, Bamm Havoc, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode. Toodaloo.
And for myself, Draconis, thank you as well. Yes, as Bam says, all the things, they do help out. We do appreciate it. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them and we will respond. Adios.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and cry now because I've really hurt my throat talking to you.